This is a replay from a live chat in the Spread the Word Facebook group. I would like to share it with the viewers of the Meri Atelier. This is a faith-based video because I realized viewers of the Meri Atelier are of many different faiths. I have put the comments on an approval basis. Please comment. I will see it and approve of polite comments. The like and dislike option is also hidden from view. However, please hit a thumbs up. I will see it in my administrator area. Thank you so much for watching and commenting. Meri at the Meri Atelier. The focus of this live chat is a faith-based Gluebooks. What can we use? There's church bulletins. The churches that I've attended, how many times do you see these bulletins with really, the last church that I attended had an actual art department, volunteers. They made beautiful, beautiful art, depending on the sermon. I loved it. All of those bulletins at the end of the service would either be left in the pew, or some people would take them, and as they filed out, they would leave them on the table, and then the church leaders would pick them up and I suppose recycle them. But just think how many church bulletins that you can accumulate. Maybe you can pick up a couple of those extra ones left on the table. And you can actually fold them in half, and some of them are legal-sized paper where you can actually do a trifold. So I would say church bulletins, old Bible study books. I have a stack of old Bible study books. And those don't have pictures in them, but you could fold the pages over, and I don't know about you, but I tend to doodle. I have a history of doodling, even in, like if I've attended like a Beth Moore. I have little doodles that I've sketched of Beth Moore while she was talking up there on the screen. I have as I was actually doing the Bible study itself one morning, I drew little ATCs as I progressed through this Bible study, and I would create little ATC doodles based on what the study was. And I want to get a hold of that book. It's in storage, but that would be excellent ephemera to put in a Gluebook. So think about all the things, children's church art. If you have children, or if you teach a Sunday school, the church art that they bring home, I still have some Bible study and Bible art and Bible school art. We used to have these little Concordia square boxes of like a little art kit that we did in Bible school. I have them from my childhood. They're going to go in a Gluebook. Spiritual books, the actual journals. Maybe you don't want all the Bible study stuff. Maybe you just want plain blank or lined paper. You can grab a couple of those. Art books. I'm going to show you one tonight. I think Jerry's already seen it. But the Renaissance, very, very much focused on the gospel and biblical art. A lot of images, just beautiful images. Calendar art, old quotes, poetry, greeting cards, anything that's spiritual related. I think we'd be surprised if we actually quit throwing this stuff away. If you go to a meeting, how many times do you throw away your name tag? Hello, my name is Meri. Take that name tag home, put it in your Gluebook and say, this is from the Beth Moore study on the Gospel of John, those type of things. And it's not that it's beautiful art, but it triggers a memory if you would go back and look at it. Sunday school art, images from magazines. If you get spiritual magazines in the mail, I think Shannon Green on one of her recent lives, I think it was just her most recent one, she used Charles Stanley's In Touch magazine as a base for her rainbow paper. I think that's what she was using it for. And I have a couple here that I'm going to show you later. I've got one from Joyce Meyer and Bill Gaither. So there's a lot of images in there that we look at and we say, oh, those are nice, and magazines accumulate and we toss them. So I've been keeping them and clipping images out. Announcements, I'm thinking more like if a wedding announcement or something like that. That's kind of iffy, but if it's something that comes into your life, rather than throwing those things out, that could go into a glue book. It's almost like a scrapbook in a way. Almost. Your own art. I have some things that LP Red Flower, Linda Council, sent to me that I'm going to use in my glue book. She sent these little ephemera things. These will be fun to put, well, there's butterfly, but there's also little tags. And you can glue a little memory verse on here. This says, hey. I love that one that says, hey. Painted papers. This might make a nice background for something. And you just kind of keep collaging things on. I made a whole bunch of ATCs recently. And I have some just little painty scraps here. So combined with an image, make a nice and a journal spot, all of a sudden you've got a glue book page. Hymns, depending on your church, what your church does. Sometimes I've attended a lot of ladies groups where rather than passing out a hymnal, they'll pass out a copy of the songs that they sing at the beginning. Fold them up, bring them home. Hymns, I've got a hymnal that I right here that I bought specifically to cut up so I can pull the hymns out. Bible verses. I don't do it so much anymore, but in my younger days, we were focused on scripture memory, and we'd write out these little Bible verses on cards. We had this little pocket thing that we carried around with us for our scripture memory verses. Little journal spots. A devotional that means a lot to you, where, you know, the Holy Spirit really spoke to you. You might want to put that in your glue book. I have old lists here. I'm thinking more like prayer requests or something like that. That might want to go in your prayer journal, but depending on what you want. So, I'm at the end of my little spiel here. I was going to show you where I'm focusing on the glue book that I'm going to do. I have not done a spiritual-based glue book. And I don't have a lot of the church bulletins and stuff like that with me here in Nebraska. Everything I have is in Wisconsin. But that's okay. That causes me to think outside the box. If I don't have all this neat stuff that I've been talking about, what can I use to do my glue book? Well, there's a lot of things. Here are some things. I talked about the hymns. I'm going to use this I pulled out of this hymnal. It's "The Lord is my shepherd." And I pulled this out of a Bible that I got at the Dollar Tree. Whether you want to actually do that with your Bibles or not is up to you. I've done it both ways, but I figure this is a written word piece of paper, and if I'm honoring the Lord by using it, I don't think God's going to get mad at me. So it's words printed on a piece of paper. My actual Bible that I use for my devotions and everything, that's totally in a whole different world. So I'm going to use Psalm 23 tonight. But here are some things I cut out of these. Let me get you the magazines here. I sent my notes off over here. I have this German Bible that's fallen apart that I got at the library sale, if you've been following my channel. This is an old German Bible. I can't read a word of it, but I know it's a Bible, and it's falling apart. And I could actually see taking some of these pages out. I already took there was some genealogy at the front and at the back, and I took that out and I put them in between page protectors, and I actually preserved that. But you can see this Bible is literally falling apart. I could see using that in a spiritual journal, but even in your glue book. Here's the hymns that I took that. This is the hymnal. I bought this at a library sale specifically so that I could use. I might actually come back and do Bible art journaling in here too, where I'm actually illustrating the songs. Oh, this was a Gideon Bible. I think I got this at the book sale too. I was going to show you these magazines. This was the Joyce Meyer one. But you can see where you can pull things like this. Maybe I just wanted the journaling spot, love, life. Peace comes in situations that are completely surrendered to the sovereign authority of Christ. I could see just pulling that out and attaching it with an image on a page with another image, and that becomes your Gluebook page. You're taking all this ephemera from different sources that you have and putting them together on a page. I also have this book of birds. And I'm really thinking, not everything has to be, these are God's creatures. I was thinking about cutting some of these out too. They're a little bit larger, but I pulled it out just for the fact that not everything has to have a cross on it. You can put a bird on there just illustrating, God sees the little sparrows fall. I think this is Perry Stone publication. Some of these were just given to me. Here's the Bill Gaither one. A lot of images in here that you can use. I've already fussy cut some out. This I'm going to use, and it was off in an article. Reba McEntire, He's Alive, and it actually gives the verse, and it gives the history of this song, and here it is an image of it written, I suppose, in her journal or on the pages, and I thought this was so cool. So these are some of the things that I'm going to use in the Gluebook that I'm going to start. My spiritual one. Just little verses. This was a Thomas Kincaid. I can't remember who it was. I got it here. That's Bill Gaither verse. This was I think it was a Thomas Kincaid figurine, The Painter of Light. I pulled it out of one of those spiritual magazines. A verse, a song. So these are just like little images that you can use. I've got a whole bunch of them. I've been collecting them in your Gluebook. This one I'm I have a lot of trouble sometimes because there's neat things on both sides. I have trouble sometimes deciding which side I want to use because it's got all these neat verses here, but I really like this. So sometimes I just have to do what Jerry knows Cindy, just make a decision and go with it. And you either clip it and use 3 of them or glue it and use 1 of them. That's probably the thing that frustrates me the most. And sometimes I'll see all these really neat pictures on both sides of the page. And I'm going, can't you just move it over a little when you print it? So these are just little things that I've collected. This was a nativity scene, a glass figurine. Those advertisements when they sell them. You are my soul, my strength. This is talking about that angel figurine. Yeah, it's Kincaid. It's Thomas Kincaid figurine. Oh, and this is the Nativity. Here, I just found this was stuck in the middle of a book that I got at the book sale, Favorite Quotations from the Bible. I thought, well, there's little journal spots in here for faith-based journal. So you might see me be cutting some of these out. Now, what am I going to use for the base? Jerry saw this earlier today. We were in a hangout. I found at the thrift store this really neat book on Florence and the Renaissance, Florence, Italy, Renaissance art. This art just floors me. I mean, look at this. Look at these images. Aren't they beautiful? I'm going, help! Should I make a large glue book or should I make a small one? And at the time that we were talking about it this afternoon, I really hadn't pulled anything apart. I did it, well, actually I did it this afternoon. So I pulled out a couple signatures, and this is what's left in the book. I removed the cover, and I don't know if I'm going to, look at that image. Isn't this cool art? Look at this. I love this headshot of David. And what I want to do, and look at the beautiful art on the other side. I think I actually have another one of those David, because I know I pulled it out. No matter how organized you try to get, where did it go? So here, this is another one. This is what I want to use tonight. And this is going to be a page in a large glue book. And what I'm going to do is, I want the hymn, "The Lord is my shepherd," and the Bible verse of Psalm 23 to be associated with the statue of David. I'm going to put those three elements together in my glue book. Here's my Psalm 23. I want these three things to go on that page. But I also want to show you this. This is pages out of this large book that I went through, and I looked at them. And I said, well, if I fold them in half, like if I folded this one in half, like this, the face of David would be, well, you know, he'd be this way. And that just, to me, visually, that's not working for me, visually. So I'm reluctant to fold it in half. So I went through the book and I looked for pages that I could fold in half. And what I'm going to do, instead of creating this book to open from the side, you're going to open it, you're going to turn it this way. I want to pull all of this out. You're going to turn it this way and open it like this. Only I have to arrange my pages so the buildings aren't upside down. Like that. And I tried to choose pages that did not have full-size images like this. I tried to choose pages that only had an image that would make sense on a half-size page. So those are some things that if you're doing creating a signature out of something like I am, an art book, that maybe you want to consider. Now the print on this page goes that way, but that's just print. That's, you know, that will eventually get covered up. That will be background to me. So these are Renaissance buildings. This one I might want to turn. I might have had this put together to open the other way. But see, as you open it up this way, you're flipping through like that. This one, this one, and then I use that as the center one. But still, you'll have the same issue when you go back. They'll be upside down. Well, this is straight. But luckily for me, there's not a lot of images on here because I looked for pages that made sense to me if I used them in a glue book that was only a half page. What I'm going to do, I've adjusted some of these pages here. I want to straighten them out so that they are nice and even. I did not fold each page separately. I just kind of folded them as a group. And I really didn't use a score to score the pages. I just kind of folded them together. And you can take a knife and trim all this off. I'm not going to do that right away. I'm just going to go ahead, and these make sense to me now. And I have a needle all threaded, believe it or not. I tried to prepare for this. A big long thread. Let me turn a little of this off. And I'm just going to do a really quick pamphlet stitch. And I'm going to eyeball it right here and now. And I actually have a pokey tool. And I'm going to start it here, hopefully. It's kind of hard to work underneath your camera. The camera is right under my nose. And you've seen this done 100,000 times if you watch YouTube videos. This is nothing earth-shattering. Use my needle here to do this one. And all I'm doing is making a signature. And these are the only pages that are going to be in this glue book. This is just going to be a small one, more for demonstration, but I really like this illustration. Isn't that cool? I love that Renaissance art. Those images in that art book just floor me. They're just beautiful. It makes me want to go to Italy and visit all those museums. And then put it in here. Yeah, get it in the right, like that. Take my needle off. Got a big long thread there, that's for sure. And then I like to leave a little. And then I usually, after I'm done, I usually come back with an X-Acto knife and trim off the pages. But actually, I'm going to open this book this way. So if I'm doing this, I could actually use David here, couldn't I? And make it a full-page layout. I think I will. I didn't think of that. So I am going to... There! How cool is that? Now here, can't you just hear David with his harp singing Psalm 23? I mean, while I'm creating this page, that's what I hear. I would just love to hear him sing. I would love to have heard him out in the fields singing the Psalm 123. Psalm 23, I'm sorry. So I am taking this hymn, Psalm 23, and I am going to create a page with this statue of David here. Right here. In fact, I'll put that there. What does this say? A golden age? Maybe I'll leave that there. How could I do that? Let's see. If I wanted to leave a golden age. No, it's not going to work. I like it this way better. And then here I have Psalm 23. And this is from a dollar store Bible. To me, this honors God when we use His Word. I think if we were using it in a dishonorable way, it would be a whole different matter. But I think we're honoring God when we use it. And He's going to not frown on us using Bible verses in our glue books. Mary's talking to herself here. Okay. So there. there, and there. Now I want some color in the background, and I do think that I'm going to smear some paint on the background here. And I think I'm going to take yellow because it's a sunny color. It's not really in my palette, but I'm just going to really quick smear some yellow on this page. And can you paint in your glue books? Yes. I would encourage you to go look at the announcement of this chat, and I put a link to that definition of a glue book in the Urban Dictionary. And I thought that was a really good link because you can do a lot of things in glue books. It isn't just pasting together pictures that you have. There's a lot of other things that you can do. I'm going to wipe off my hands as much as I can. This is craft paint. This is apple barrel craft paint. I'm going to dry this. It dries fast, but I'm going to use my heat gun. You know, I started out, when I first glue book, I think I had too many pages. This is a little damp yet. I'm going to do the bottom down here. I really think, especially in your first glue book, I really think maybe 4 to 5 pages in your first signature, and just make a small glue book if you're doing your first one, just to get the feel of it. And then if as you work and you get more ideas, then you can build a larger glue book. This one that I'm using here has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. If you double it, you have 28. If you double it this way, you'll have 14 here and 14 here. And there's 7 full pages. So, I'm doing this page. It's still a little wet for me in here. I would not make your first one too large. And then as you get going on them, you'll get more ideas and you'll get inspired, and you'll want to take your signatures and build larger books, depending on your, well, really, it's your preference. So I'm going to put this one under, I think, and that one over. No, I think I'll put them both over. I have to decide what I want to do there. So, but I'm going to glue this one down first. I do not generally use a glue stick. They're not my preference, but I'm going to use it here because of the demo. This is not it's washable school glue. It's not a strong glue. I really prefer a stronger glue like Elmer's glue, but that is a wet glue. And it's a little messy to work with. And if you want to see a real mess on my desk during this live video, I'll get it out. A glue stick is a little bit neater to work with, but I don't think that it's as strong or as durable as some of the other glues, but it works for this. And all right, let's put this. I think this is cool how this is turning out. I did not plan this, you guys. I planned to use this, but I was thinking that I was going to have to put it. Now it's going to stick out a little. Let's see if I can bring it down. I was thinking that I was going to have to put it on a full page, but no, I can get it in here, and that just makes me happy. And my hands are a little sticky. Now you can't see the entire song down here, but I know that it's the hymn, "The Lord is my shepherd," and to me that makes a lot of sense. And I think I'm going to put that down here. I think I'm going to put it right down here.